Let's get to the bottom of this one. Unspoken truths that I miss one. Tap into the minds of the people, rather acknowledge before I dismiss one. Atheists, Muslim, Christians, Buddhists, they all got usage. All got perspective, it's a collective. Get to the bottom where the truth is. With our hearts uncovered. Where you detox from all of the lies you smothered. What them tries could have killed you, but with faith you recover. Yup. Peel off the makeup, we finna take off. Never said it'd be a cakewalk. Meditate till we charged up. Execute goes regardless. Decalcify my pineal. Breaking language barriers, we saw millennials. Planets passing age rotations, down me we owe. So down me we know. Sometimes we can't be slow, that's why my ears open. Every drop you add could complete the ocean. Speak up, play your part too. Been vulnerable, it's so hard to.
Hi, everybody. I'm Kimberly with Unseen Twisted Truths. We are the People's Podcast. I may be doing this one alone for right now. Got DDH in the image because he's at work. My guest is not responding. Last I talked to her was an hour ago, and she said she'll be on. Her phone is going to do not disturb. So let's see. And Henry is at an event. Hey, Henry.
I can't get any damn footage right now, but I fucking killed it. I got someone here who might be filming for me, but I'm going back on, and I love you guys.
I love you. Mwah.
I figured I'd stop in and say hi. It's just rare it lined up like that. So you guys kill it out there tonight. I love yous.
And you kill it out there. And I can't wait to see your footage.
Oh yeah, go and twist them truths.
Yeah, Twisted Radio. Go on, sing Twisted Truth. Love you, Henry. And then we're going to have Henry's own little icon sitting here with us because he is at an event. So, but Melissa may still show up, and then again, she may not. We're going to see. Things happen. Life happens, obviously. Life happens. It's so out of everyone's control. Anyways, so tonight I want to talk about, I really wanted her to finish her story, but we can just go on without it. And if she shows up, then she can finish. So I do want to talk about how the title is your actions can be somebody else's consequences. And I know that's a weird thing to think of. You think like everything happens for a reason and every action's a reaction and whatnot. But at the end of the day, that may be true. But you got to also look and take in consideration that sometimes our actions affect others. Sometimes what we do really make a difference in someone else's world. So with that being said, here's some things, for example, when I'm talking about my actions affect other people and it's their consequences. So I was young. I was 16 when I had my child, and I was growing up also with my child. I didn't take in consideration that my choices as a young person trying to grow up to become an adult to make poor choices. I didn't take that in consideration that would affect his life. And it did. It did. My choices end up affecting his life. And he had to go and do some shadow work and healing of his inner child, which, he's a boy. He don't think he has to. But at the end of the day, I had to. And then I had to forgive myself for my actions because I was beating myself up over the things that I did. And so, yeah, sometimes our actions will affect others. So there's consequences, So I don't know whoever's watching. Is there any time that you've ever done anything where your actions, Rita, have you ever done anything where your actions had been affected somebody else, not just you? That's what I'm asking. I'm asking Rita, has your actions ever affected anybody else, not just you? Because I know there's like, it's almost like somebody getting in trouble just because they're accessory to it. or just because you happen to be at the wrong place at the wrong time, and then now you're going down because somebody else made a poor choice. What's one thing, Rita, that where your actions have affected someone else? What have you done? I made it an example that when I was 16, I was, well, 17 when I was pregnant and had my child, that I was growing up with him, and the choices that I made along that journey of being a mom, a young mom, not knowing how to be a parent, not knowing what it consists of, I made a lot of poor choices. I didn't vet. I invited different people in and out of my life without knowing who they were and what impact they would make on him. So, me making poor choices as a young person, just trying to find love in all the wrong places, cliche, and that it affected him. He had an effect on how he respected women, even though I was a single mother raising him alone. It affected him. It affected like how he respected me, because I didn't pick the men that did respect me. So I just picked other, people that wanted to love me. I wasn't looking at ones that treated me correctly because I didn't know what it was like to be treated correctly. I thought love was love, which consisted of attention. If someone gave me attention, wanted to have sex with me, then they must have loved me. That's what I thought love was. I didn't realize that love was something way more. I didn't realize that, with love comes respect. With love comes respect and appreciation and honor. I didn't realize that, I didn't realize that you are supposed to treat someone respectfully, not disrespect them. You are supposed to say kind words. Your hands aren't supposed to be meant for abuse. Your words aren't meant to hurt. I had to learn that as I got older, because I started taking their agreements as my own, and that affected my son, because one, like I said, he didn't realize how to treat a woman properly because he didn't have that example of how to treat a woman properly, because I accepted stuff that was beneath me. And then two, when I didn't love myself or respect myself, how could I expect him to? You know? I tolerated so much stuff that how can I expect him to treat me properly? How can I expect him to respect me when I wasn't respecting me? So them are the things that I done that I didn't realize my consequences affected him, or my actions affected him. You know, we go through this world and we just live because there's no book on how to live. There's no rules on what we should and shouldn't do on how to live. There's no, or raise a child. There's no guidelines. There's no nothing. They say, go to church. They say please and thank you. Don't speak unless you're spoken to. Um, women and children are to be seen and not heard. These are things I heard as I was growing, because I'm in that era. That's how it was I was taught. We're supposed to take our kids to school. We're supposed to teach them about Santa Claus. We're supposed to tell our children this stuff, and teach them his story and all this other stuff. Never once was I told that my choices, though, my actions will fuck him up mentally. Never once did someone ever tell me that. Vibes, energy, you're in an absolute full control. You are supposed to write your own book. Do not follow anyone's facts. But it's not easy raising a child. There's no guidelines, there's no structures, there's no, hey, be mindful what you say, because that's going to fuck that child up when they get older. Be mindful of who you have in your relationship, because that is going to instill on them how to act and be. I didn't know that shit. That's what I'm talking about. I didn't know that, I'm dating someone who's fucked up. That's going to put an impact on my son and make him fucked up. When my best friend was sleeping with my mom while they were working together, I was so hurt. Right, because their actions affected you. Yep. That's an example of somebody else's actions affecting them. So I can't speak for Melissa because she's not here to defend herself, and I don't know her story all the way. So I can't assume what her story would have been. But I know that being an addict, though, I drank a lot when I was younger because I grew up so fast. I didn't have that chance to have a childhood because I went from 15 living on my own to being a parent at 17. So I didn't have that time to, really be a kid. My mom left at 9. So it was my sister and I raising ourselves, cooking dinner and stuff for my dad. I never really had a chance just to be a kid and just to make mistakes. And not saying that we all need to, it's just that how can we learn in life if we haven't bumped our heads? So you know what I'm saying? Like I had to buckle down. I had to get 3 jobs. I had to walk to work, and then I had to also go get my high school diploma in the mess of all of that. And which I did, but I'm just saying, like, I didn't have that chance to be young and making poor choices, really. I made poor choices in relationships, but I didn't make poor choices in my health and my body and stuff because I was a mom. So then when my son got a certain age, I'm going to say he was about 12, I was able to party and drink and stuff because now I didn't have to really keep an eye on him. I didn't have to really be an attentive parent. I did the wrestling, I did the PTA meetings, and I dated somebody who had another child. So he had a sibling at the time, but I started drinking. And then as my son got a little older, I started drinking more because now I didn't really have much responsibility. But yet my son didn't see structure. He seen structure in me going to work, but he didn't see structure in me taking care of myself, me loving myself properly, me putting me first. He didn't see that kind of structure because wasn't raised seeing that kind of structure. So I didn't know that I should do that for him. I didn't know. I didn't know anything. I swear I didn't know anything. And I made a lot of poor choices, and I don't regret none of them because I'm grateful for who I am today. And I'm so happy that I made those choices because I was able to grow through it. But I didn't take in consideration how it would have mentally fucked him up along the way neither. You know? I thought, he's 15. I moved out at 15. He'll be all right. No, he still needed me to be that assertive parent. He still needed me to be like, no, boy, go to school. No, boy, you ain't doing this. My son got brought home by the cops so many times for stealing and stuff like that when I never been in trouble with the law. But I let him have a life. I let him be free. I let him do what he wanted to do because I worked a lot. I had no choice. I had to work. And now that he was the age, I could get a different shift. I didn't have to work midnights, so I could be home with him. So I worked midnights, and then I stayed out and did first shift, or I did doubles a lot, because I had to make ends meet. Because I don't know if you guys know what it's like to raise a teenage child, but even a boy, they eat like crazy. Like it's insane how much a teenage boy eats. And he'd go through a gallon of milk a day. I remember taking my clothes back because I didn't have clothes, but I bought myself shorts for the summertime and taking them back so I can get him milk. You know what I'm saying? So I had to work a lot. And then when he had part-time jobs and he worked for the summertime, I made him give me parts of his check because somebody at 15 didn't need $500 a week. He was making that, but he didn't need that. So I made it, I gave him $200. That's all a 15-year-old needs at that age is $200. And he didn't want for nothing. So most of the time he ended up buying things for his friends, and he was a really good saver. But yet I didn't take in consideration, though, like I said, not showing him how much I respect myself because I didn't love myself. I didn't learn to love myself until recently at all. I thought Everything I did, I deserved. I thought, that's just my luck and my karma. Because in my past life, I must have done something terrible. I had so many thoughts because I was told this as I was younger. So as I got older and I realized that, that's not the case and nobody's agreement has to become mine, then I was able to fix that. But in that time, all those things that I did do, though, really affected him. But I didn't think of him. I thought of him in his safety. I didn't put him in danger anytime. I thought of his well-being, like, health-wise, but I did not think of his mental. I never once told him the things that was told to me, though. I'm proud of myself for that. I never once told him that I wish he wasn't born, that having him was a mistake. I never once said that to him. I've always told him I was proud of him, even when he stopped going to school. I never once told him I was disappointed in his actions. Even when he would be brought home by the cops and stuff, I never once told him that I was disappointed in him. And he said some mean, hurtful things to me as he was getting older because he didn't know how to channel all that I've done to him unintentionally. Because to me, I thought I was a good mom. I wasn't doing drugs. I wasn't in the streets. I just drank a lot and gave him a roof over his head and worked a lot. So I thought that was a good parent. I didn't miss any wrestling meets. I took him to every one. I had friends. He constantly had friends sleeping over. I really thought I was a good mom. And then I realized being your child's friend doesn't make you a parent. Making sure they're safe doesn't make you a good parent. Just there's a lot of things that don't make you a good parent. So yeah, I might have somebody be on the pop on to be able to talk back and forth so it's not just me talking. I love you all though, and thank you for tuning in. I appreciate you all. But yeah, like I had to realize so many things, and I'm grateful I did because I love who I am today. I'm a better grandparent than I ever was a parent. I taught my son stuff. I didn't vet. I didn't vet. I remember one time I went and worked. I was working as a waitress at a bar, and it was just down the road from my house. And I started dating this guy, and he already had a kid, and he was a great dad. He was a wonderful dad. So I thought maybe because he was a wonderful dad, that he'd be great to my son too. Hi, peace and blessings.
Hi there.
So our subject is about, has you ever experienced where your actions became somebody else's consequences?
Okay.
And I was telling a story about one time because I worked and I had a child at a very young age.
Mm.
I was only 17 when I had my child, and I remember one time my child was about 4 years old, and I would leave because I had to go work as a waitress somewhere. So I worked down the road from where I lived at this bar, and I was this waitress. I dated this guy who had a kid, so he was a good father. So I thought he would be good to my son because he was a great dad. Not knowing that every time I left, he beat the crap out of my son. And I had no clue. One day my son wet himself and I was like, that's out, you're 4, that's out of character for you. You've been potty trained since 2. I don't know what's going on. I didn't yell at him, scold him or nothing. I was asking what was going on and I was helping him change his clothes, and he was kind of stopping me from helping him change his clothes. But I end up finally getting him to let me pull his pants down, and he was bruised from his tailbone all the way down to the back of his shins almost. And I was mortified. Mortified. I ended up quitting my job that day. I called the cops. The guy got arrested, but I didn't properly vet this person. I just thought it was my sister's boyfriend's best friend. Must be a great guy. My sister's boyfriend's a great guy. He's got a kid, so he must be good with kids. I didn't think that he would treat my son differently than he would his own. The guy ended up going to jail, spending some years in jail and stuff like that, but that mentally messed my son up, you know? So have you ever had a situation where your choices affected somebody else and they had to deal with the consequences of your choices? Kendo?
Hi there. Yes, I've dealt with a lot of abuse in my background as well, especially when it comes to my own fatherhood, where he was full on abusive to my mom, myself, and all my siblings. There's four of us. So when it comes to choosing your own protection for your own self and your children, you choose your children and yourself first before any man can touch anyone, and that's never okay.
Mm-hmm.
Abuse is not okay.
But have you ever experienced though where your actions affected them and and they had to deal with the consequences of your actions?
Yes, I would say yes.
Yeah. And as you got older, became more mindful of that, right? And started making
Mhm.
proper choices.
Of course. It's always
So
a learning curve when it comes to making your own decisions and your choices in life and how it's a cause and effect for what you have to do for yourself.
facts, facts. And that's why I thought at one time that love was sex and just being around each other. I didn't realize love was respect, nice words, and care, and treating someone the way that you want to be treated. I thought
Hmm.
women had to tolerate things. To be a good woman, you had to accept things. You had to do things. My dad raised me and he owned a bar and he had girls coming in and out all the time. My dad was a gigolo. He didn't ever abuse me, but he wasn't never really there. You know, he never really was attentive to me as a girl. He just said, this is what girls got to do and this is what girls got to tolerate. I stayed with someone because my dad told me sometimes I got to suck my own health, happiness up so that my son could have stability. And I stayed with that person for 5 years and tried killing myself twice.
Oh, that's so harsh.
Yeah.
But at least you're doing better for yourself, right?
Oh, well, a lot better. But this is, I'm talking when I was in my early 20s. You know what I'm saying? I didn't know no better.
Hmm. Yeah, of course. We're still learning and we're still growing, and we just got to do the best we can to
Yeah.
teach ourselves for how we can evaluate with our lives. You got to know for what's right and what's wrong, and what's with your subconscious too.
Mm-hmm. And I remember my son was 14 and he walked up to that guy, and I was already with that guy for a few years because we were together over 5 years. My son walked up to him and was like, I want to love me like you do your daughter. I look at you like a dad, because he raised my son since my son was 10. He said, I am not
Mhm.
your father. I will never be your father. And I stayed with that guy.
Oh,
I
that's
should
pretty
have
heavy.
I should have left that guy. I should have
Yeah.
left that guy. I should have left that guy before that, though. I should have left that guy a long time ago. But when you don't accept my son as your own, I shouldn't have stayed. And my dad, had me brainwashed thinking that, and I'm not blaming my parents because it's not no one's fault. I allowed what I accepted. It's the fact
Mhm.
that I should have known better, but I didn't. So I had to learn by that. But now that my son's older, he holds on to certain things and doesn't release it because he hasn't healed from the things that I allowed him to go through.
Mhm. Have you tried being open with your son with the topics or
Oh
no?
yeah, 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 yeah. No, he's
Okay.
31. My son's grown now. He's 31, about to be 32. When
Oh
when they
wow.
when they come, I'm going to be 50. So when they come of a certain age, there's they're stuck in their ways, and they got it all figured out. Eventually he's going to have to do some shadow work, and he will eventually heal. But right
Mhm.
now he doesn't think that, nothing's wrong with him. So I'm okay with that. He's a great father. He's a
Oh.
wonderful father. He does say things to his sons. He's got two boys. He does say things to his sons every now and then. I look at him a little bit and be like, don't speak to my grandchild like that. And he's kidding,
Mhm.
and he doesn't realize that affects them. He's but no,
Mhm.
don't call your child an asshole.
No, there's
I've never,
different ways and phrases you can
and
do.
I never called him that. So I don't know where he got that from because
Mm,
I never talked to him that way. So it wasn't because he was heard it from me, but the people I dated when I was gone might had,
mhm.
you
So
know?
maybe it's something in the past that stuck to him since, and you don't know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So
But he is a good father
yeah.
and he's very attentive to his children. He's got two children by two different mothers. He's engaged to the last mother, but
Okay.
he's active in both their lives. The first one they have joint custody. It's just the fact of that, like I was a father to my grandchild before he stepped in to become one,
Hmm.
and I don't know. I guess that's how it went though, because I didn't know how to be a parent neither. But I taught him. But I don't know. I don't know. I can't make excuses for other people's actions. So I just know that everything happens for a reason, and what's meant to be shall be. And I'm more mindful of my choices.
Hmm. And that's the best way to go, is to be mindful for what you want to do for yourself and for your future. How you're going to handle things for you.
Facts. Facts. I've healed so much and so many things. I forgave myself from so many things that I've done. So when I speak on this, is not because I didn't forgive me. I'm not
Hmm.
harboring nothing. I'm healed. I'm not beating myself up over anything I've ever grew through because I grew through it.
Hmm.
I tell people this so that they can be mindful of themselves and realize that your perception is your key, but at the end of the day, the way they perceive it may be different than you. So
That's very true.
you might have to ask them how your love is affecting them.
Hmm. That's very true too, because we all look at love in a different perspective for how we see it and how we want to experience it as well. And excuse me, there's just so many different aspects of it for how we want to see ourselves with what love is. What should it
Yeah.
be like?
Yeah. Nope, that's so true. That's so true. So what did Valor say? Valor says, oh Rita, that happened to me, but they didn't work together. They just worked. Oh my goodness. See, Rita said that when her best friend was sleeping with her mom while they were working together, that was really hard for her. And Valor said that also happened to her. That's crazy. That's crazy. I took pride in that. My son's friends always would hit on me and stuff, and I'd be like, "Ah, get your friends, boy, get your friends." That's insane. That's insane. But yeah, I know a lot of people that they're not looking how that affects the children. They're just looking at their own happiness and their own well-being. And they're not thinking, well, yeah, us sleeping together is probably not best for my kids. They're probably not thinking that. Are you back with us, Kendall?
Hi there, sorry about that. I lost
That's all.
connection.
But so I was saying that Rita said that her best friend was sleeping with her best friend was sleeping with her man while they were at work, they were working together. So Rita said, or not Rita, Rita said that. And then Valor said the same thing happened to her. Her best friend, what'd she say? Not Mama Man. Oh, I get it. But her best friend was sleeping with her husband or boyfriend, but they weren't working together. So like I see. I see. I end up dating my best friend's husband, but they got a divorce when I started dating him. But she did sleep with my daughter's dad first, which is the guy that I was with that had a child that he didn't want to claim my son, but I claimed his daughter as mine. And to me, to this day, I still call her my daughter, even though it's not my daughter, but I say my daughter. I only have one child. Um, but yet first She slept with him. And I didn't do a tit for tat. I didn't do, but if she did, I'm going to do it. It was, she didn't see nothing wrong with it. And they're getting divorced and they're not together no more. Why not? And I ended up being with the guy for 9 years. They're back together now. They end up getting divorced. She ended up getting married to somebody else, had a couple more kids by this other person, and divorced this other person because they were really abusive, and end up getting back with her husband. So, yeah. She don't like me anymore. I don't know what I did wrong, but she don't like me. She don't like me at all. But like I can't make sense of that because I still liked her when I was dating her husband. They weren't together. They were divorced by then. They divorced before I even messed with him. They were divorced for a while before I even messed with him. And it was already a few months after she already slept with him that, I figured she moved on and she didn't care who she was moving on with. So, whatever. But at the end of the day, I was always cordial with her and I let them have their alone time and talk about their kids and stuff. And I never got involved in stuff. I don't know why she don't like me, but that's okay. Cause I don't care to talk to none of them anyways. So my past is my past and I'll let it stay in that. I love the kids and I will still speak to the kids. But at the end of the day, I wish them both well and I'm glad they're back together. And hopefully this time their marriage works out for a while and they can work on their problems before they separate or cheat or do whatever they're going to do. But I didn't just sleep with him. We had a relationship and we were together for 9 years. So we built something. It was toxic and I was an enabler and I drank a whole bunch. It was fun at times, but never productive. We never grew. We never established any kind of business or anything proper. It was just wasting time. But yeah, that probably affected my son too. He was a lot older. He was 17 when I got with him. But yeah, that's when I did all my heavy drinking when he was older. And I told him my son broke up some things in my house, and my son I had to have an abortion because the baby was in my tubes, and they told me that if I tried to have this baby because my placenta and the sac was already forming and stuff like that, and they told me there was no way of saving the baby, and that if it continued living inside my tubes, my tube would explode because it was at the end. My tube would explode and it would have killed me and the baby. So I had to do something. They rushed me an emergency to have an abortion. I cried. I begged and said, please no. And they told me that I kind of had to. And I didn't know no better. So I did. And then my son would always carry the ultrasound picture of that baby with him forever because he wanted a sibling. It's just funny how about the old best friend is the one in my latest video. It took a while to let it go because I don't want him in no way. I just stay mindful. I feel that. I feel that. I feel that too. I feel that. I can receive that. Yeah, I don't want that guy no more. I left him. That was the hardest thing to do. It took me a long time to be able to leave him. It took me a long time to heal from him. It took me 3 years to heal from him and to leave him alone for good. And I became stronger because of it. So yeah, and I was terrible drinking. I don't drink no more. I don't even touch wine. But yeah, I had to go through that to learn to grow through all that, to be able to be who I am today. So yeah, she's talking to you, Valor, and I'll read it because she doesn't realize that's private chat. She thought that's chat. She's like, that's a lot to be going through, and it's definitely not easy situation you faced. And she was like, I admire your journey. and things are amazing. Life is amazing. It's all about perception. It's all about how you perceive it. This is an illusion that we are all dreaming. And how do you want to wake up from it? That's what you have to ask yourself. Because, it is our reality. We paint our own reality. They call it history for a reason. It's his story. So what's your story? How do you want to see your life? How do you want to live your life? I have a legacy now. And my grandchildren are my everything. My grandson comes on here a lot. A lot of the viewers know grandson. Grandson's an active podcast member. And Vlor said, saying I forgive her, but I will never forget it because it hurt a lot. It ended me and his relationship of 3 years, and I was pregnant. Yeah, it is, because she is always ready to go and support me with my music wherever I go. She feels bad and she has to. She owes you that because she was your friend. First and foremost, she was your friend. And I don't feel that way about relationships. I wasn't raised that your body was sacred. I wasn't raised that people were off limits. I wasn't raised that, once you date somebody, then your siblings shouldn't date them. I wasn't raised that way. I didn't feel that way. My whole family mixed around with each other. All my dad's brothers slept with my mom, my biological mom. So I wasn't raised that, they shouldn't share individuals. I was raised that love is sex is love, and everybody's happy, and we're just all going to live in this big gay fa la la community. And I use that word loosely. I mean happy, like my brother had this girl and I had this girl, and we're just going to share her, and it's just odd to me. But yeah, my cousins are my sisters that aren't my sisters. I don't know, it's weird. It's weird. We all have the same last name. But at the end of the day, none of those thought about how that affected us. None of those brothers thought about what they were doing with themselves and their penis, how it affected their kids and their nieces and nephews. None of them. They were all just free with themselves, and they only thought about themselves. And I guess, I see, and I ain't mad at them. I see. I do a lot of things every single day that I do not think about my consequences. Thank you, Laura. Thank you. I do a lot of things every day, and I don't think, man, I hope this don't affect this person. I hope this don't affect this person. I just am so mindful of myself now that the choices I do make are proper choices. Because I don't go and do extra anymore. I don't try to fulfill myself for the false sense of love and respect and all this other stuff. I live in the now. And I'm so happy. I'm happy in my relationship now. It's the healthiest relationship I've ever been in. And I mean healthiest because we're both growing. We're both very mindful of our own actions and how we treat others, and that we respect ourselves and love ourselves, that it pours onto our love for each other. I don't have a jealous personality. I never had. And I don't know what it's like to be malice or vindictive. I'm love and light. I'm a vessel of love from the Most High, and that's how it's been my whole entire life. So I cannot relate to how any of that feels. I love you too. But yeah, I can't relate to any of that. So The only stipulation that I ever told my future husband is that to always love yourself. Because once you stop loving you, I can't love you. So as long as you continue to love yourself properly, then I will be able to love you. And I had to learn that. I had to learn that. I wasn't taught that. I had to learn, that we have to love ourselves first and foremost over everything. We don't have to water ourselves down for someone else to love us. We don't have to accept things. I thought Melissa was coming on too, Justin. I did too. I did the flyer and everything. Sure did. She was supposed to come on. She said she would be on. She was getting home at 7 o'clock her time, which would be 8 o'clock this time, or she'd be home to come on. So I tried calling her and it went right to voicemail. And I text her, or I message her on Messenger, and there was no response. I appreciate you for the support, Vin. That you guys haven't heard from her all day? Or you haven't? Huh. Yeah, I did text her, and she said she was on her way home, and she'd be home in an hour. And that was at 6 something, or 5 something. I can show you after the show. But that was it. And I haven't heard from her since. So I don't know. But yeah. Like I said, sometimes we do things, and our life is lifing. Life will be lifing all the time. All the time. Yeah. No worries. I don't mind. I don't mind. Do you want to share something, Kendall, with them? I don't know if she has signal yet.
Oh, hi there. Sorry about that. I keep cutting out throughout my walk.
Do you want to share something with them? Some word of wisdom, some advice, some knowledge, drop some jewels?
Well, I guess for today's quote would be self-acceptance. Just be who you are, be in the present, and just be you.
I love that. I appreciate that. Yeah.
Mhm.
Because I was saying, I learned to love myself, and I don't know what it's like for jealousy and none of that stuff. I don't have that in me. I've never been raised with that. So I don't know what that is. But yeah, I was telling the people that one stipulation I gave my future husband was to always love himself. And if he didn't love himself, then I couldn't love him. So long as he always loved himself and put himself first, then I know that I will be treated respectfully. So yeah, that's one thing that I did say to him. You received that?
Definitely. It's all about learning about being respected and to earn the respect.
I don't really think you have to earn respect, to be honest with you. I think if you loved yourself correctly, then it automatically should just come out of you, because you wouldn't know no different, because you would
That's
love
also
yourself.
true.
Yeah.
That's true too, yeah. I guess there's different point of views for how you want to see things like that.
For sure. And that's how I like to look at it all within self. Because there's only one thing in this world you can control, and that's yourself. Everything outside of it is really none of your business, and it's not out of your control.
That's very true.
So yeah. Self-awareness. That's it right there. Self-awareness. Bingo, Valor. And that's what it is. You have to be mindful of yourself, and I choose to see things with rainbows and butterflies. I choose to see a lighter perception of things. So if I'm going to look at something, I'm going to see it with discernment at all times, because I got that inner peace, and I love that light feeling and that energy of love. So yeah. So I'm not going to hold anybody up, and I appreciate everybody tuning in and sharing stuff with us. And I don't know what happened to Melissa. Let's pray all is well with her. Next week we are going to talk about somebody else who's been in prison, and they're going to tell their story about what happened to them. So that's what we're going to talk about next week. So I'm going to wrap this up. Usually Henry is our closer, but he's at an event right now, strumming away, so we can't hear his guitar music. Kendall, the gentleman next to you, whose name is Henry Scholl, is our my co-host and my sidekick, my universe son. He's been with me since I started doing this, and we're going on 3 years now. He's been rocking with me, and he plays a guitar in a band, and he's at an event tonight playing. You guys should probably connect with music wise.
Oh, definitely. I'm down for that. I'm very open.
So is he, and you'll like his style because he's got a soulful style like you have.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Okay. Hook me up.
And
I'm happy to talk.
I will. And then my husband's up in the corner up here, and he also, and that's DDH, but he's at work, so he's on here just to help support. He's working, so he can't
Hi.
say much. But anyways, he also does music also, and he is a very storytelling kind of versatile artist. A very, very talented artist. You'll have to check some of his music out too.
Oh, definitely. Send it over. I'm happy to help out in any way and let me know.
Yeah, no, for sure. And I appreciate you coming on. It was short notice and you were willing to do that, and I appreciate it. And I enjoyed my conversation with you all day today. You're a light
Likewise.
of love, and I appreciate you.
Well, me too.
Oh, thank you. So with that being said, I pray all beautiful things to all these beautiful people, and make sure you make proper choices, because you never know what your actions could do to somebody else. Be mindful and love yourself correctly. So may your night be full of positive energy and high vibrations, in peace and love. Ashe, everyone.